My daughter Kathleen got married several years ago. She asked me to write a poem for the wedding. This is that poem. It's called Epithalamion, a few words for Kathleen. We're here today to celebrate the wedding of Kathleen and Mark. Kathleen, when she was 8 years old, started coming with me to AA meetings on Friday nights. That group had really good coffee. And as she made her way time after time to the coffee pot, I would lose sight of Kathleen because she was short. But I could follow her progress by watching the heads turn to bless her with their eyes as she passed, beautiful child that she was. At the break, they'd raffle off a big book. And when the meeting broke up, Kathleen would go from table to table, collecting all the discarded raffle tickets, which she would bring home and store in a shoebox. Why? I never figured it out. Up came my anniversary, and my sponsor was out of town. So I asked Kathleen if she'd be willing to say a few words in front of a room full of grown-ups, and she was game. Kathleen was always game. She had to stand on a chair to reach the microphone. And if I remember right, what she said was, "It is always an occasion when someone celebrates their 11th anniversary. Jack?" And if I had been expecting something a little more personal, still, it was a great beginning for a 10-year run. The next year, she didn't need to stand on the chair. And she wrote a poem that began, "My dad is the best. He's been that way since birth. It's a shame there's only one of him on the planet Earth." Kathleen's presence those Friday nights lit up that big gymnasium. And a lot of people who never got to watch their own kids grow up came to look forward to her presentations as a highlight of their year. Tom G., who couldn't come with us when we put on meetings in prisons, because he always set off the metal detectors, because he had a police bullet lodged inoperably close to his spine, said to me, "That kid is the best advertisement for this program that anyone could ever see." And Billy T., a former 300-pound biker, told me he had a daughter Kathleen's age somewhere. And every year he would cry at her presentation. But it was the good cry. Now it's my turn to say a few words for Kathleen. But she's tied my hands a little, made me promise not to make her cry. So I'll address my comments to the groom. Probably most fathers of the bride, if they were honest, would admit that they don't think there's a young man in the world who's worthy of their little girl. I want Mark to know that I don't feel that way, particularly. Still, what I'm sure of is that Kathleen and Mark have been extraordinarily lucky to find each other. It's crazy out there. Most of us feel fortunate to find anyone willing to cast their lot with us, let alone the right person. Today, my heart is telling me that this is right. Now, Mark, about the dowry. I'm afraid I have to ask you to be dispensed from that particular archaic tradition. It's not that I'm ungenerous, just unemployed. But somewhere among Kathleen's belongings, in a cellar or an attic or at the bottom of a closet, you might still find a shoebox full of raffle tickets that didn't win anything. If you find it, Mark, hang on to it. A lot of hopes went into that box. The hopes of people whose last names I never knew. People who didn't win life's lotteries, didn't dodge all of life's bullets. Who once looked at Kathleen and took heart. Who loved her and left their tickets on the tables and hope that they might be for her tickets to a better life than they had had. And any time you feel that life's too hard and you're too much alone, take that box out. Run your fingers through those old raffle tickets. Mix them up real good. And think about how much luck it takes to find the one person in the world that we were meant to find. Then go to the kitchen and put on a pot of some really good coffee. And make enough for two.